Hi everyone, Tom Slivick, and welcome to TSPN's News for today. And with me is Craig Harmon from the Highway Patrol. How you doing, Craig? Good to see you again.
Nice to see you, Tom.
Amador Highway Patrolman, and you are the Outreach Officer?
Yeah, Public Affairs Officer.
Okay.
We can call it the Outreach.
Okay, great. All right, and I'm glad to have you up on board again one more time. And
thank you very much.
You know, why don't we start off by just talking about, I was mentioning to you before we went, it seems to me like perception always is, and mine was, is that, we're having some, a lot of crashes around here lately, and it would seem like we are having more.
Yeah, that's a perception, but we're down. We're down crashes. We used to average about 60 crashes a month. Now we average about 45.
And when you say used to, what time frame would that be?
Starting about 2001.
Okay.
2001 through about 2005. In the last couple of years, it seems like crashes are down. Our DUI arrests are down. DUI crashes are down. Or enforcement is up. So the Highway Patrol always talks about that enforcement will help with keeping crashes away.
When you say enforcement is up, do you mean you have like more cars, CHP officers on the road?
We do. We do. We just got 4 more young guys last April. And yeah, they're writing all kinds of tickets.
Right here in Amador County?
Right here in Amador County, yeah.
Okay, okay.
So
good.
It used to be in the old days we'd have 1 car up, in the hills, and 1 car down the flatlands. Now we'll have a minimum of 3 cars, sometimes 5 cars on each shift. So we're a lot more visible, and I think that's making people remember that we're out there and they need to pay attention.
That gives me a question to ask as well. Like, when we're out here driving around on Highway 88 or driving around, I don't think the sheriffs and stuff, they don't usually issue traffic citations, do they?
They can, but they don't always. Most of the time the Sheriff's Department, they'll deal with the penal codes and things like that, burglary, robbery, rape, murder, things like that. And then we cover, in the county, we cover the vehicle code section, which is speeding, drunk driving, things like that.
But you can't
so they can make stops.
Right. And they can write you up as well, but that's not their main thing, is looking for traffic.
No, but they'll pull it over, and sometimes we get our drunk drivers from them. They'll pull someone over for some violation, and they'll be drunk, and they'll turn over to us.
Okay, and and then the same with you guys. You're basically out there looking for taking care of the highways and not looking at the crime scene.
Exactly. So if we found a crime scene, murder or rape on the side of the road, we could take it, but that's not what we do. The Sheriff's Department, that's what they're good at, and so we would have them come over and take care of that for us.
Okay. Now at the same time here in Amador County, you guys do a lot of backup, though, right? If someone, because you're on quite a lot of crime scenes as well.
And anything that goes down, usually the guys we scan. We have scanners in the vehicles, so we hear other traffic from the other, like from Ione or Jackson or the Sheriff's Department or Sutter Creek, even the forestry and law enforcement. And so if they have a call, usually our guys will go head that way and vice versa. And it's always nice to know that, because sometimes at night there's 1 car on, and so you guys are everyone's backing everyone else up.
And so that's a thing to know too. Your guys are like full-fledged, fully trained police officers, know how to go into entries into buildings and all of that sort of thing, right? Just total.
And sometimes if, say, Sutter Creek's going in on a building search, then our guys are the ones that are on scene that go in and help them.
Right, because you're readily available or ready to roll.
Right, and we're all trained. We're all trained, just like they are.
Okay, that's good to know. So we've got more officers up here, and we're actually down in our accidents. Now we're coming up, we've gone through the summer months. We've still got some good riding, motorcycle riding time out here. And how was that this year? Was they down, up?
Well, I hate to say we're down on that as far as fatals on motorcycles.
Then you didn't mean you hate to say that.
No, I like to say it.
Okay.
And it's odd too, because statewide motorcycle fatals are up, but here in Amador County, and like I say, without knocking on wood, I hate to say it, but we're down, and that's very good. We had a couple years ago, we had a bad time with one weekend with 4 deaths. It was a 3-day weekend, and that really threw our stats off. This year we've been doing pretty good, but the motorcycle fatals, they're always seems like there's 1 pending.
Yeah. Okay. That's because you're pretty much out there in the open, and one little mistake,
and more people are riding because of the economy and things, and riding motorcycles is great, and this is a beautiful place to ride, so they always come through here. Okay.
And so what about motorcyclists? The motorcyclists, some people, maybe that's all they have is a motorcycle or something, but any rain type tips for people?
Don't drive it in the rain. Okay. And you see people driving in the rain, and they'll wear bright clothing and things like that, rain jackets and stuff. It's just not. You only have 2 wheels, and especially after the first rain, it brings all the oils and things to the surface of the roadway, and it's just really not a good deal. And when it's raining, people's visibility is down. They're not looking for motorcycles, and motorcycles, it's easy to lose them in your A-pillar, or you don't see them, you don't expect them. It's really dangerous.
I think one thing that happens in the rain is it gets very shiny, and we're not used to seeing all the shininess around, and so we're not used to spotting things in that sort of a condition.
Well, and with the weather the way it's been, people riding motorcycles into winter. And last year we had a couple motorcycles got caught in chain control, and they can't be up there. You can't champ a motorcycle, but they came in from Nevada from the other side, and it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary. So our recommendation is always to check what the weather is going to be like, what the road conditions are like before you take a trip, especially on a motorcycle.
Okay, so we've got that. We've got, so we've been talking a little about the collisions and things like that. Okay, why don't we go into one of your specialties? First of all, let's take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll find out what one of Craig's specialties is. Okay, stay with us right here on TSPN. You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN. Okay, and I'm back with Officer Craig Harmon. Right here in Amador County Highway Patrol. Craig, I'm looking at your uniform, and I don't know, what rank are you?
Just an officer.
Okay, just an officer?
Yeah.
Okay. So is that what they have? They have like officers and then like lieutenants and stuff
they have
like
sergeants
that?
and then lieutenants.
Okay.
Captains, chiefs.
You've been around a long time. You haven't made a corporal yet or anything?
No, the bottom's the place to be. That's the best job in the Highway Patrol.
Okay, all right. There you go. I have to remember that.
There you go.
I'll probably be good for that. Let's go back to your specialty. I know it's one of your specialties. If anybody out there has a new car seat and they need to make sure it gets fitted right and everything, you want to get a hold of this officer right here, Craig.
Yeah.
Tell them how they get a hold of you and what you'll do for them.
Just call the office. I can give you the numbers, 209-223-4890, and call and set up an appointment. And especially if you've had a brand new baby or you're getting a new seat or something like that, they're getting real complicated to install these seats. But bring the kid and the car seat in the car, and I'll show you how to install it and give you a little education on it and talk to you about the things to watch for. Because there's a lot of misinformation out there on things to do, and we can straighten all that out right there.
And a lot of it is like the car seat itself, that comes with the car. Does that help secure the car seat, the child's car seat in place?
Well, there's a couple systems. There's a latch that comes with the car, and sometimes people install that, and that's good up to a certain weight.
Okay.
And then there's the seat belt that's good to another weight. And one of the things that we see commonly is that they'll use the latch system, which stands for lower anchors and tethers for children. They'll use that system and the seat belt, because if one's good, two's better, right? Well, not in this case, because they're not crash tested that way.
Okay,
and
so
that's one of the biggest things we see.
It gets complicated.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you think it's complicated, find out how to do it right. A lot of the seats then they probably stay almost the same.
Yes.
Right. If in the back you've got a seat, and once you get it in there, it's probably going to work. Now, how about for grandparents? You have grandparents come on up.
Oh yeah.
I know for ourselves we'd say, well, every now and then we get the grandkids.
Yeah, and definitely if you have impending visits from grandchildren and stuff like that, come by and I'll show you how to install the car seats, because it's been a while, I'm sure, and give you recommendations on which ones will work for you and things like that.
And that, like when I do it, then that's a seat that's going to leave the car. It's not going to stay in the car all the time. It's going to go in and out. So,
but hopefully when we're done,
you can
I'll be able to show you so that if you take it out, you can, and within a few days they come back, you can put it back in with some confidence.
Okay, now I guess car seats are pretty important, because I've just heard a report, and you were sounded like you heard of it as well, is where they're thinking about seeing if have those car seats for kids to stay in them longer, maybe till 12, because they're maybe not the right size, or big enough to have the seat belt, the restraining, safe enough for them, or whatever. It would seem like it's not age, to me, it maybe should be the kind of thing like when you go on a ride at the carnival, where like you're this tall or this, that would get you in or out.
And you're exactly right. It's not age anymore. Right now it's currently 4'9" or 80 pounds.
Okay.
Which actually makes sense, because you could have a 6-year-old that's tall or small or whatever. So this is a better way of gauging it. And they always are pushing for 8 years old and 80. And I always joke that then we're going to have older drivers going back into car seats, they're only 80 pounds. But yeah, it's always changing, and I wouldn't be surprised if there is.
We get shorter too.
Yeah, there's that too. So I can see that happening, because they keep raising these ends or these restrictions for children. And the thing is, though, it really works. It saves lives. It really does. If you and I could ride in one, we'd be a lot safer.
Right. I think some my experience, like in the service in the Air Force and stuff, and also a little bit with off-road vehicles. Those. The restraints really need to be in the right places, and working right in order for them to work right. They're engineered.
Right. They're designed to come in contact with the strongest parts of the body.
Right.
which is perfect, and that helps distribute forces evenly throughout the body, so certain parts don't take all the force.
And then, of course, the other reason, one of the reasons why you're in the back seat is because the force of the airbag.
Right, there's the airbag, and also on a head-on collision, they only test for head-on collisions for these car seats. The car that hits you head-on has a lot farther to get to you when you're in the back seat, and that seems to be the safest spot, especially the middle rear, because then you're protected from side impacts also.
Okay. Okay, good. So if you need any help with your car seats, give the CHP a call here. And I think this would be another good time to take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about other conditions that is coming up or going to be into winter driving. So stay with us right here on TSPN.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.